Hi. Can you hear me, I hope? I'm using a different fucking microphone and shit. Anyways, decided to go live. I promised I'd go live tonight. I know it's late. Probably no one's going to show up. And I have a subject I want to talk about is I deleted Facebook off my phone again. So, yeah, no more Facebook. And the reason I deleted Facebook is I can't do it anymore. You know, it was aggravating the shit out of me. Hello, Dennis. You know, these are people that I've met, my personal Facebook page. So it was, I was expecting better. But instead it was like this very toxic environment. Lots of condescending, if I put something up, there was a bunch of people that would, slam my opinions with opposing viewpoints. I've had people delete me and block me. And all I was doing is defending my position against all of the shit going in my news feed that was condescending and offensive to me. And so I found, I was driving through the desert one day in Vegas, well, North Vegas, middle of nowhere, no one around, no internet, nothing. And I was like, you know what? It's pretty nice out here. You got to wear a fucking mask. No one's bitching at you. No one cares what you think. You're just out there. And that's what kind of inspired me to take the leap once again and remove myself from the Facebook platform as a disc. I didn't delete it because I don't want someone else to take the name. But it's off my phone. I'm not going to check it. I'm not going to post there anymore. I still use Facebook Messenger for people that if they want to talk to me, they can just talk to me, or put me in a group chat or some shit. And that's fine. But I'm done with just seeing the shit on there. Not to mention all the fake news that goes out through there. All the people defending masks was really getting on my nerves, considering where I'm at and all the places I've gone. And I've had enough. So I think as part of my media fasting, Facebook is gone. So thank you, Sergio. I needed to quit. I definitely needed to quit. It was getting to me. It was totally getting to me. I'm going to bring the chat up on my computer here this time because it doesn't stay on my phone screen very long. So let me work on that real quick. Where's the link? Damn it. There we go. So give me a sec to get my shit together because, professional fucking YouTuber and shit. It's not working out very well. Ah! Get my shit. There we go. So, yeah. Hello, Debbie. Gotta agree, Facebook sucks. It's weird that I think people act a lot differently on Facebook than they do in regular life. Because I've been very careful with my Facebook over the years. If you haven't looked me in the eye and shook my hand, or I haven't seen you in person, you didn't get into my personal Facebook page. I've turned people down for years that come to me from YouTube to try and get in my personal page. My rule is I have to know you. I have to meet you. I've been a little lax with Facebook Messenger here and there, but my Facebook page has been strictly, if I haven't met you in person, you don't get in there. But all of the people that were on there were people I'd met in person who treated me nice in public or in person, and they're just complete shitheads, a lot of them, to me. Not all of them. There's some that are, like that. And I'm sure people probably think that about me, but I'm always spouting my opinions. Anybody who knows me is I fucking run my mouth all the time. It's kind of a thing. It's why I have a YouTube channel. So I'm not really acting any different on there. Like, I would tell everything I say on Facebook, I would say in like a conversation that I was having with somebody or hanging out, you know. But I think emotions are running high right now. I think people are scared. People are uncertain about the future. With you, we're not going to solve it on social media. You know, we'll solve it through the actions we take in our daily lives, through the way we vote. All of these things that are out changing minds and swaying opinions are kind of gone right now. Like, you know, it takes a long time for somebody to change their mind on something, and they have to be comfortable with it. And right now is one of the most uncomfortable fucking times, confusing times in modern history. So people just aren't fucking, you know, people just aren't ready to open to new ideas right now. They're clinging to whatever side of the spectrum they're on. So I found myself beating up my head against the wall on Facebook, and I was like, you know what? It's bringing me nothing but drama into my life. There's a few people in particular who were really grating on my nerves, and I was just like, you know what? You do you, y'all do you. You can post your shit all day. I'm not going to change your mind. You're not going to change my mind. So what am I doing on here? We're not talking about anything, you know, in terms of, no one's really asking me how I'm doing on there, or anything like that. Even when I post, you know, certain things, you know, a couple people, there's some good people on there. Don't get me wrong. There's some people on there that I've gotten along with just fine and who are interested in what I'm doing out here and stuff like that. But there's also a lot of very toxic people, and there seem to be like more toxicity than good people. There's like 2 or 3 good people and then a bunch of toxic motherfuckers, and I don't get it, you know. So I find it best for my personal life to divorce myself from that. Let me get to some chat here. Debbie, hey there. Gotta agree, Facebook sucks. Yep. Zuckerbook blows. Your AC is fixed. No, it is not. However, I'm finding that when the temperature is below 80 degrees outside, that I can leave it on the lower idle setting and it'll be kind of comfortable. Whereas it used to, when it worked properly, like if I left it where it's set right now, which is the max setting, it would be like an icebox in here if it was below 80 out. So it's still not fixed, but it is cooler outside. I'm up in Oregon now, in the mountainous kind of area too. So it's kind of cool and chill, and I'm enjoying that. I'm enjoying the fucking not having to idle the fucking thing at max. But if it gets to be hotter than 80 degrees, I have to put the jug on the fucking thing. It hasn't completely hard failed yet, so I think we're still good. Tim Ferguson, Facebook is liberal. No, not necessarily. I have some conservative friends on there. You know, as you know, I'm libertarian. I'm neither on neither side. Well, maybe you don't know. But the problem with the problem I was running into is my views on COVID and face masks in general. I tried to post science, you know, and research the way I've always done with keto and fasting and my railing against Monsanto and Big Pharma. I don't just talk out of my ass. I actually go and look at some scientific fucking articles. And what really set me off is, you know, I woke up one day, looked at Facebook, and it was just filled with fucking mask shit, like guilt trips from masks. Because most of the people on my friends list are in New York. There's some that I've known for a long time that are outside, but the majority of my newsfeed comes from New York State. And a lot of people are just guilt tripping people about the mask thing. Like, if you don't wear a fucking mask, you're the reason why this thing isn't going away. Masks, if everybody wore a mask, it would just solve the problem, and somehow everybody be cured, and, you know, then we could go outside and live our lives like normal again. There's this big fairy tale fucking imagining of masks solving a fucking problem. Masks aren't going to solve shit. They never have. They never have. The way we solve the problem is through treatment. And I think we've made a lot of progress in the treatment department because our death rates are way down, comparatively speaking, to the infection rate. But the media, after they got done with the civil unrest period there, decided to crank up the fear of COVID again. And it's like people forgot, where we're at, and they're all of a sudden getting all fucking wound up tight again. And there's signs of certain people fucking wanting this to continue, wanting this panic and fear to grip us so that we're more compliant with whatever fucking rules they come in. So much so you got California shutting down again. You've got multiple states that are just going backwards, which is going to be terrible. The economy is struggling as it is, people. I currently don't have a load out of here yet. I've only been hauling fucking groceries. I haven't been hauling consumer goods. So the economy is going to tank pretty fucking hard. Let me see. Walmart is starting mask. I heard that today. Fasting bastard. Walmart is going to start the mask required nation. It's not just them too. I heard it was Best Buy, Starbucks, and a few others. So yeah, even if you're not in a mandatory mask state, guess what? Walmart's going to try and make you put it on. My advice, if a store is doing that and you aren't required by law to do it, spend your money wisely. Vote with your dollars. That's it. And you know what? In some places, people are going to still go there and put their mask on and shop and do all of that. And I'm probably going to even have to from time to time, since Walmart's one of the few fucking places I can buy shit when I'm in this box. But at the same time, I'm going to be mindful of the way these businesses are treating me. Best Buy, I won't walk into one. If Best Buy does that shit, they will never see me again. Same thing with Starbucks. Turns out I know how to make coffee. I don't need them to do it for me. They can fuck themselves if they go with this mask requirement, especially in states that don't mandate it. And see, this whole thing, this very passionate stance I have on this issue goes against about at least half of the population, I think, is thinking that. I don't know. It's hard to tell because in a lot of states I go to, it seems like the majority of people aren't wearing masks. And even in the mandatory masks states that I run into, and the ones that are wearing masks are wearing them halfway off their face, or they got them toward to the side, they're wearing them around their fucking chin. My favorite thing, when I sat down in a restaurant and the waitress took her mask off to fucking talk to me and then put it right back on afterwards. It's fucking, it's ridiculous, and it somehow I'm not an empathetic or considerate person because I don't want to wear a mask. When I 100% know from the science and the fact that masks have been a thing in China for years, and look where we are today, that masks just don't work, especially the shit masks they have us. Like, let me dig my shitty mask out right here. See this fucking thing? This is what I wear. This ain't stopping shit. I even took the fucking filter out of it, which was basically a piece of fucking tissue that goes in here, because I wanted to breathe a little better on the fucking times I do have to fucking wear it. This is not going to save anyone's life, all right? And especially when I see, like, even tonight, I'm in Oregon, which I do believe is a mandatory mask state. I don't know that for sure. It seems like it, at least with the businesses I've gone to. But I drove through this little town, and they had this bar with outside seating going on. And it's clearly one of those deals where if you're not sitting in your table, you have to put the fucking mask on. But if you fucking, if you're sitting at the table, you can take it off. If you're standing, that's the stupidest fucking rule ever. Like, somehow a shield comes up around your fucking table if you take your fucking mask off to eat. It's the ridiculous hypocrisy that this mask shit is. And it's the fucking, like, because you see the reporters, they're on the fucking news, and they're like, "Oh, fucking, you gotta wear the mask. The mask is," and meanwhile, they're by themselves. They're fucking by themselves in the fucking front of the camera. and they're wearing the mask. They're not wearing it because they're trying to save lives. They're wearing it to virtue signal your ass to wear it. Sorry, I went off on a little tangent. Let me go ahead and catch up with some chat. But yeah, I did hear that, fasting bastard, that these businesses are going to do it unilaterally, and that goes alongside with all these corporations using freedom of speech. You know, the government can't stop us, but a corporation can fucking pretty good at censoring people. So, you know, this is just another example of corporations trying to control us with these unconstitutional rules. You know, and if I thought this worked, I'd wear it. If I believed that this stopped the COVID, but there's been science for 100 years. 100 years they've been testing this. That's the Spanish flu. You know what? They were wearing these during the Spanish flu. You know what didn't happen? The fucking didn't stop people from dying from the Spanish flu. You know what stops people from dying? Medical treatment. That's it. This slow the spread shit, that's not going to happen unless we all stay inside and shut down. Masks are not going to stop that. They haven't the whole time. So, all right. And that's my opinion. It's a truck driver opinion. I should put that out there. So don't live your life based on my opinion. That's just my opinion, you know. People driving alone wearing a mask. JG Lee, LNAO. Yeah, it's... The other thing I saw when I drove through this little town is there was two people walking together, right? One of them had a mask on. The one standing right next to him, they're clearly hanging out together, wasn't wearing the mask. I'm like, oh, so how does that work? You know? It's kind of... It's dumb. The mask thing is ridiculous. And it's just continuing to fuel this virus is going to spread. It's going to continue to be here. It's not going anywhere. The flu never went anywhere. This isn't going anywhere. It's going to always be there. But what is hopefully going to go away at some point is the fear. But not as long as the media is on this. And quite frankly, the media is going to stick to this until something worse happens. It's exactly what happened with the civil unrest and the protests and all, and George Floyd and all that, is the media turned their spotlight over to that. Suddenly, no one gave a fuck about COVID. They were out by the thousands marching in the streets. They were, nobody cared. Then that kind of started to die down. And then the media shifted the eye of Sauron back onto fucking COVID. And now here we are locking states down again. I hate the media. I fucking hate the media with all of my heart and shit. So, but that's why I deleted Facebook, is I got tired of trying to, I got called anti-science literally on a fucking post that was a meta-analysis of every study on masks since the fucking 1800s. So we got data since the 1800s studying efficacy of masks, particularly these shit cloth ones that everyone's wearing. And I got called fucking anti-science for it. And I'm like, you know what? You guys do you. You want to wear your fucking mask and social distance and do all of that shit all day. I'm going to be out here doing my thing. If I have to put it on, I'll put it on. Like, if it's the difference between, I'm not going to be confrontational. I'm not going to be walking into Walmart shaking the fucking greeter going, look, motherfucker, I got rights, you motherfucker. That's not going to be me. I'm like, okay, dickhead, are you happy now? That's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to make anyone's life difficult because it's not their fault. It's not the people working in the business's fault. They're, when the fucking corporate fucking head honcho comes down and says, thou shalt enforce the masks, it's not the fucking minimum wage guy's fault that, you're fucking being forced to do it. He's being forced to tell you to do it. And you want to know how I know that is because I see so many of these workers, like, with their masks like this. Or like this. Or they just fucking take them off entirely sometimes when they think no one's watching. So be nice to people that are working. It's not their fault. Realize it's the governments and the corporations that are mandating this shit. It's not the guy that's being forced to, do the rules. It's not even necessarily the small business owner either. If you think about it, in New York, they're really hardcore. They'll shut you down. They'll take away your liquor license. They'll do whatever they can to destroy you in New York. So I don't blame necessarily the business owners. Now, if they're going way above and beyond what the law says, then I'm just like, okay, maybe I don't need to shop at your fucking establishment. But in the non-mandatory mask states, if a business is like, hey, we're going to fucking make you do all of this shit, and literally I can just walk down the street to another business that's not doing it, guess where I'm going? Or I just don't bother. In California, I didn't leave this truck other than going to the shop and to fucking go into a truck stop. That's the only two things in California. The company spent some money to try and fix. But, I didn't want to contribute to an economy, especially when I feel like the majority of the population is just putting up with this shit. I want to see people fighting this back. I want to see court battles. I want to see class action lawsuits. Unfortunately, some states, the people are on board with this. And that was probably the most frustrating thing for me about Facebook, is the amount of people that are just, yeah, I trust that this mask is going to save people's lives. Fuck you for not wearing it because you're going to kill people. I am so tired of that. Me not wearing this isn't going to kill some dickhead in New York right now. It's not going to hurt anybody, all right? And 9 times out of 10, everyone I run into out here hasn't been wearing them. But somehow I'm an inconsiderate, unempathetic, unscientific prick. And what I found was on Facebook, I was being made to feel that way every time I opened it. Not even directly or intentionally. Just people would post these condescending things making fun of people like me. And then if I spoke up about it, then the direct insults would come. Sometimes I had good, intelligent debates about it with people that would agree to disagree. But then other times, people just got personal, and I'm just like, you know what? I don't need that. I'm out here. I'm living my life. I'm going hiking. I'm traveling. I've done more in 2020 than I've done in the last 3 years. I can't say that. 2 years. I did go to St. Lucia. But still, I mean, I just don't see a need for Facebook in my life anymore. If people want to be my friend and want to know what's going on with me, they can come to my channel, because I do post here, or they can contact me directly. I'm not hard to find. If people all over the world seem to find all of my shit, I'm pretty sure, my friends can if they want to look me up. So hopefully you don't get censored, but masks don't help. It fucks your lungs. God bless you, my friend. Stay safe. Alcoholic wrote. Hold on, I gotta uncensor some shit. I'm gonna catch up on the chat now. I know. See, the problem is when I'm fired up like this, I kind of miss out on the chat. So let me get back to that. Tim Ferguson, last year, 278,000 Americans died of lower respiratory complications, pneumonia, and flu. You want to know the difference between last year and this year? This year, if test positive for COVID and they were going to die of the same thing, guess what they get labeled as? There's a lot of shenanigans going on by the hospitals. We're in a for-profit medical system, don't forget, and there's a monetary incentive for COVID cases. And these headlines are all like the hospitals are getting to capacity. The ones that are getting to capacity are the ones that opened back up to people they were denying care to, like cancer patients and heart disease patients and all kinds of people who could wait. Because COVID, they're having problems. They need medical attention. And then they test them, because if you go into the hospital, you're going to get tested. And guess what? You're in there for one thing, and you test positive. Now you're a COVID patient. If you were going to die from something that was already going to happen, that's why you went to the hospital in the first place, but suddenly test positive for COVID, so all of a sudden you're a COVID patient and you're not, dying from heart disease, cancer, diabetes, or any of the other fucking things that we normally die of. A lot of us normally die of. And then you can get infected just being in the hospital. There's some questionable behavior that's happened in the hospitals in terms of putting suspected people in before they test in the same area as people that tested positive. I've seen testimony of that online. Now, this is all shit I've seen online. I haven't gone into the hospitals to take a look, and I don't really want to. I don't know. When I look around in the places I get to go, I don't see extra, like sickness and death. Anything more than I'd seen through every year in my whole life. I personally don't know anybody that has died from it. I know people who say they know people who have died from it, but nobody in my life, personal life, that is part of my personal life, has died from it. I've had a few people that I know through the internet get it, recover, and they're fine now. And, I've met a person who tested positive in person, and it's supposedly 4 weeks after he was done with having it. So for all I know, he still had it. And he was fine. He lost a lot of money to me at the poker table, but it's still fine otherwise. I don't see it any different than the flu or a cold at this point. Now, these are all things. An attempt was made on my life by another driver. Yet I got to be virtue signaled that if I don't wear this, I might kill somebody. Meanwhile, countless people try and kill me every day with their inconsiderate driving, breaking speed laws, cutting me off, slamming on the brakes in front of me, darting over. I mean, there's just so much stupid shit that happens to me on a daily basis that when people try and guilt trip me for not wearing this, it doesn't fly with me. I'm just like, look, you can't convince me that I'm being an asshole by exercising my personal freedom to not wear this fucking thing. Yet everybody out here is ignoring the traffic laws entirely, which have been laws ever since I was a fucking, fetus. But somehow I'm the inconsiderate one. I just don't get it. And like I said, nobody in my life has gotten sick because I choose freedom over tyranny. But, what do I know? Dr. Phil, yeah, Tim, it's literally an invisible entity and nobody really knows it exists, but you either believe in it or you don't. I'm not done. So does heart disease, so does cancer, so do car accidents, so does tornadoes, so does hurricanes. It's one of the many things that sucks that we may encounter in our day-to-day lives that might take us out. Doesn't require any more fear than those other things do. And some people have a lot of anxiety about that other shit. I know people that won't go out in the woods because they're afraid of getting eaten by a bear or getting murdered by an axe murderer. And here I am walking in the woods by myself. It's a matter of risk versus reward because you can't have both. When you go out and you live your life, you're taking chances every day. Whether there's COVID or no COVID, when you step out your door, there's a chance, percentage-wise, that you might not come home. I see it all the time. I watch true crime. I've seen people out here die. I've seen some of the worst wrecks you'll ever see. Those are people that just left their house and were going to Walmart. It doesn't require this systemic level of fear and control and rules to try and prevent. We need to take steps to treat it, to effectively manage it. But we're not going to stop it. We never were. That was never the plan. If you go way back into the early days of Cuomo's fucking power trip, He even said it. It's not about stopping it. It's about slowing it down. Well, here's the news. The longer you take slowing it down, the longer we're in this mess. Setting us up for third or fourth waves, tanking people's immune systems in the process because they're not exposed to people, because they're staying away from everybody and they're social distancing and they're staying home. And then their immune systems drop so that they're more susceptible to all kinds of infections, not just COVID. You know, this is all scientifically proven. We've known this shit for years. Suddenly we forgot it because CNN's wearing masks on camera. You know, so let's see here. Tim Ferguson, since COVID is here, none of the other respiratory diseases have been reported. Yeah, because they kicked everyone else out of the hospitals. You got to fucking call in to get an appointment and shit. There's ridiculous, especially in the UK, I'm hearing. They're really bad. Like, you got to make an appointment to go in for anything. You know, you just got your fucking carotid artery fucking severed. Well, guess what? You're going to have to wait on hold on the phone until they can squeeze you in. You know, and then if you test positive for COVID, but you die of the bleeding to death because they didn't get you in on time, guess what? Goes in that count that's scaring the shit out of everybody. You know, Dr. Phil, 117 died from, quote, COVID, unquote. 4,300 people died in 2017 from pneumonia in Australia. So, oh, I see what you're saying. You're saying that 117 died from COVID versus 4,300 from pneumonia in 2017. You can go throughout history. You know, honestly, people were comparing this to Spanish flu for the longest time. You don't hear that argument anymore. Why? Because it's easily disproven. This is not the Spanish flu. This is a very shitty flu. You know, I'd rank it as one of the worst ones. But it's not shut down the planet worse. It's if you're sick, stay home worse. If you're vulnerable, stay home worse. Take precautions. You look it up. You're supposed to, what they recommend the medical professionals who are exposed to this, because there's a thing called viral load too, like how much you're exposed to. But in addition to this, if you're really worried and you want to save lives, including your own, you got to wear a face shield too. You got to wear gloves and PPE. Because what do you see people doing all day when they're wearing this? You know, when you wear it, you see it, they're like, oh, it's fucking. They're always fucking with it. You know, constantly fucking with the mask. When you look at the meta-analyses of the studies on this, they found that the virus accumulates on the outside of the mask while you're wearing it, if you have it. So you're passing air through this. You're still pushing the virus out. These don't 80% ineffective. 80%. You know, but like now, I bet you I'm going to hear in the comments or I'm going to get unsubbed just because I said that. You know, I don't give a shit. It is what it is. Unfortunately, politicians are trying to make the mask crap mandatory. Not everywhere, but there are some states, including New York, including California, Nevada. I think Utah just is getting crazy. There's probably 8 or 9 states that are mandatory, and the rest are just kind of winging it, you know. But we're walking back all kinds of shit economically now. We're closing fucking restaurants back down. We're closing bars back down in some states. California, you guys are never going anywhere public gathering again from the looks of it. And it's all a step backward. Meanwhile, I can go to South Dakota and it's like shit ain't happening. You know, or some of the other states. Like I drove through Idaho today. Watched a group of kids that were riding around a parking lot in a fucking, like one of them little train things. And I'm like, and none of them had masks on. You know, clearly not a mask required state. But people are just living their lives. You know, a lot of people just wear this not because they're trying to save lives, although the Facebook would like you to believe that. They're doing it because they're being told to do it, and they don't want to break the rules or the law, even though it's an unlawful law in my book. You know, but civil disobedience is hard to come by nowadays in the mandatory states, especially New York, because there's like a $10,000 fine. There's some states threatening a year in jail. And until someone gets arrested and goes to court and fights that battle, people are just gonna be too scared. They're more scared of the fucking legal penalties for not wearing it than they are of the fucking virus. You know, it's ridiculous. People that are sick should wear them. Yes, I agree. Let me see here. Sorry, I'm catching up with the chat again and shit. How's the stream coming in? Does everything sound good? Everything looks good, I hope? Oh, let's get back caught up here. It's not political. November 4th, COVID will be over. Maybe. You know, depends on how the election goes and whether people accept it. I don't know. Politics are ridiculous at this point. Like, I'm just going to hunker down and wait till it's over and see what happens. There's not much else I could do. People that are sick should wear them. Yes, if you're coughing and sneezing constantly and doing all of that shit, you cover your mouth. You don't even need to wear a mask to do that. Last I checked, you can pull your shirt up, you know, when you got a cough or sneeze. You know, that's something we should have been doing anyway. But wearing this constantly, yeah. But if you're sick, the most important thing is stay fuck home. If you're sick, stay home. Don't go to the store, don't go to work, don't go to fucking anywhere. Stay home. You want to save lives? It's not about wearing buddy until you're better. You know? And that's reasonable. I'm down with that. If you test positive for COVID, stay home. You know? You're sick. Stay home. Call the boss and say, look, I got COVID, motherfucker. And stay the fuck home. Don't go to Walmart. Don't do any of that shit. Have people bring you shit. Have the mailman drop the shit off. Whatever it takes. But stay home if you're worried about saving lives. And you should be. You know? It's not about, you know, if you're healthy and you're asymptomatic, there's no reason to stay home in my book. But if you're sick and you're spewing and coughing and hacking all over the place, stay home. You know, that's it. If it's the asymptomatic variant that's spreading, I don't see a problem with that because it inoculates you against the worst fucking variants of it. And there's more than one strain of this disease, and some of them are bad. Some of them will kill you, you know, no matter how fucking healthy you think you are. But it seems like if you look at the death toll dropping and the infection rate rising, though everybody's swearing that in 2 weeks we're going to see that death toll fucking climb. But you see that tells me that the virus has evolved to be less fatal, which viruses tend to do because they don't want to kill the host. They want to keep spreading. And if the host dies, guess what? You can't spread the virus. Viruses are designed to do that. You know, it is what it is. But like I said, I'm a truck driver, not a doctor. Tim Ferguson, Dr. Phil, we have been fooled. They were crashing the world economy already. COVID was the black swan they needed to bail themselves out and not go to jail. Blame COVID. I do think there is some corporate shenanigans going on for sure. When you look at what the shift in the economy is, there's a push to be cashless right now. Like, I actually went grocery shopping at Walmart today in Idaho where there's no mask law. You know, I waited too, specifically to go to a non-mask law state. But I went in and I tried to pay for my shit, and they weren't accepting cash in all of the machines. So I'm like, oh, I see what you're doing. So what we're seeing is the destruction of small businesses all over the country. You know, even in places that are open, they're being forced with these social distance rules to operate at half capacity, to make a very inconvenient experience for their patrons. And because of that, people are just staying home and ordering shit online or cooking their own meals or just not going. I can't tell you how many times I've gone to sit in a freshly opened restaurant and there's 5 or 6 people working there and me and some other motherfucker are at the tables eating. Nobody else. You know, I try to tip really heavily in those situations to make up for the fact that these people are at work and not making money. Not to mention the business owners of those places. But what we're seeing now is going to push us to this Amazon, Walmart, you know, Costco world, and it's going to destroy all the small businesses. I drive by them all the time. Like, these places that are tourist traps, closed. You know, I see amusement parks empty. It looks like a fucking apocalypse. A lot of casinos when I was going through Nevada are still fucking closed. A lot of them, you know. And, you know, Nevada puts them at every border town, too. And those were mostly closed. I think there was one that was kind of half-ass open today. There were cars parked there. I don't know if they were really open. But a lot of these places look like fucking ghost towns because their entire economy was based on that casino there. You know, and I see a lot of tourist traps that just aren't open. And if they do open and they follow all the rules, people still don't like the experience of it, so they don't go there. You know, whereas I find in the States where that's not a thing, people can just go and be themselves. Like, I've gone to karaoke bars, I've gone to, you guys saw the cave video. They gave no social distancing shit there. And people didn't wear masks in there. They were just doing their thing. And you know what? To my knowledge, South Dakota's numbers are still good. You know, and then we get that, oh, it's because they're not no population density there and shit. The mask thing is bullshit. I agree, Desert Coyote. Dr. Phil, of course, masks don't work. There's a reason virologists wear full suits with a face shield, because the viruses can fit through the pore sizes of mask. Like, if you read the box for the surgical ones of these that you get, it tells you that it doesn't prevent viruses. You know, I mean, it's on the box. Can't tell that to the fucking people on Facebook, though. 2 classes, rich or poor, is how it will end. Facebook has told me no fact on my post. You can't, that's the other thing. If you post something on Facebook, you don't know who's going to get to see it because the algorithm controls it. And it felt like the algorithm was manipulating me to see things that support the mask narrative and shuffling to the back anything, like people just posting vacation pictures and shit. I saw so much mask shit in my feed, and yet I talked to somebody else and they said their feed didn't look like that. And I'm like, you know, they're trying to trigger me. Zuck, you zucking me, motherfucker? AC working? Not any differently. It's just a lot cooler out, Windhammer. So, yeah. Death is nothing to fear, merely... Oh, sorry, I scrolled too far there. Show. Yeah, yeah, and shit. Cuomo, $2,000 fine for not wearing a mask ticket. Yeah, I think someone needs to get that ticket, who can afford it, and go fight it in court. It's ridiculous, especially in New York. Our numbers have been spectacular for the past fucking 2-3 months. You know, we are all proud. Nobody died of COVID. You know, makes me wonder. Maybe no one's getting tested anymore. Don't know how that goes. But suddenly Cuomo was the savior. He's even boasting that he saved New York. Meanwhile, it's the second highest death rate in the country. That was Cuomo's work. So, Red Richard, a guy got shot and killed over not wearing a mask in Michigan. Yeah, that's the kind of world we live in. you know? It's crazy. It's fucking crazy. Hopefully no one shoots me for not wearing it. But like I said, I don't make a confrontation out of it. Like, if I go into a store, at first glance, I'm not wearing it. But usually on the ones that require it, there's somebody at the door saying, hey, could you put a mask on, please? And then he might even hand you one. That's even better. I'll put it on, you know, because I know that the person that's asking me to do that, it's not their fault. It's not, you know, so getting in their face about it or getting in the manager's face, you know, in these big, huge corporation stores, it's none of their faults. Those decisions are coming up from way above their pay grade. Now, a small business, if you're doing it, market will decide that shit. But, you know, in the end, we have to fight it. And that might mean some of us are going to get a $2,000 fine and have to go to court. It's, in the end, you got to think of it like the speeding tickets. How enforceable is that? You know, if 1,000 people take their mask off, are they going to give every single one of them a $2,000 fine? That's a whole lot of lawyers. I'm just saying, one of those lawyers is going to get it right. Not to mention the manpower to police that. I mean, we can barely police fucking shootings right now, but we're going to police people wearing masks? All right. I heard all Walmarts require masks. I went to Walmart today, didn't wear mine, and a bunch of other people weren't wearing it, and nobody said anything. And also, social distancing didn't matter in there. Like, nobody cared. I try to stay away from people. It's not like I'm all up in your face going, hey, I got a mask on, you fucking... No. I get in there and I try and steer clear of people. Like, if someone's coming down an aisle and I can go down the other way, I do that. I don't follow the arrows necessarily, but neither do any of them. So I'm not too worried about that. And that's the other thing, Windhammer. None of us are sick or have the virus. Look into these hospitals claiming they're overwhelmed. I've been out here this whole time, and I haven't even got a fucking sniffle. And I have taken zero precautions. Now, granted, there's days when I don't get near people, but when I get near people, I get near people. You know, like I've gone to sing karaoke a couple times now. I went and played fucking poker. I've gone and sat in full capacity restaurants. Full. You know, I heard every cough in that motherfucker too, as I was eating my fucking ribeye. And I didn't get it. You know, I just had my temperature taken. I'm still normal temperature. So if I have it, it's asymptomatic as fuck. Which means, why are we shutting shit down if it's really that asymptomatic? Protect the vulnerable. Let the rest of us live our lives. You know, that's what it boils down to. You know, and I think we're all informed enough to know that when we step outside the house, or in my case, the truck, that we're taking a risk. Ask yourself that question before you leave your house. Is what I'm going to do today worth the possibility that I might get COVID and might end up in the hospital and might even die? 0.04% chance currently, according to current per capita death rate, of dying from it if you step outside your house. 0.04%. That's an indisputable mathematical number that you can look up. I haven't checked in the past couple days, so maybe I'm a little 2 days old with that. But 0.04% chance of dying from COVID. I know of a hell of a lot of activities I do that have a higher chance of killing me than that. So that's the decision. And that should be up to the individual. There should not be mandates or laws or all this bullshit. If you're afraid of the virus, stay home. Stay away from people. Wear masks, wear face shield, wear gloves. Wear all the PPE, not just this little fucking, you know, bra cap that was sewn to look like a mask. You know, wear real shit if you're afraid and you're vulnerable. And if you're caring for somebody that's vulnerable, take precautions around them. Wear the fucking mask and face shield and all of the shit. Wear the gloves, sanitize, do all of that to take care of the people who are vulnerable. But the people who are vulnerable shouldn't be walking around fucking Walmart, all right? They shouldn't be out there. right now. If you're vulnerable, stay home. It's not my job to stay home because you're vulnerable. You stay home. That's how it works. That's how every fucking pandemic in history works. You quarantine the sick. It's that simple. If you're sick, stay home. If you're vulnerable, stay home. If you're scared, stay home. It's your decision. Work from home. Stay shut down. That's the only way, the only surefire way to save lives is to stay home. Stay away from people. You know, it's not the mask. It's the staying away from people. If you stay away from people, you won't infect them, they won't infect you. That's what's going to prevent the virus. Not this little fucking virtue signal fucking thing that people wear. Stay home. That's bottom line. Anyone that wants to shame me about this, shame on you for being outside. Stay home. You know? Yeah, I've heard that multiple times, M. Hammer, about the all Walmarts, Sam's, Best Buys, Starbucks, and I'm not sure, a few other chains. I think Costco will too. They've already been kind of dicks about it. So yeah, there's going to be a whole lot of motherfuckers that are enforcing masks going forward. So it is what it is. Scott Snot Rockets, I still laugh at your mention in a past video. I don't know. Did I mention Snot Rockets in a past video? Remember the 80s cartoon? I never. No. Is that Jim Carrey one? Should go get a Jim Carrey mask. Run around with it. Shit. So, you know, I think I'm all caught up on chat. Did I miss anything important? Let me look. Fasting bastard, I sometimes wish an EMP would hit the planet. Oh my god, that would be horrible. There would be chaos. So, I won't eat anymore because of the BS. And that's, yeah, even places that are open, there's people that won't eat in a restaurant now just because they're scared of the virus or they don't want to have the bad experience. It's, you know, we're social creatures. We're expressive. You know, people running around in masks cannot express themselves. I think I saw something in the Constitution about that. Correct me if I'm wrong. Freedom of expression, I believe, is in there somewhere. You know, don't quote me on that. I'm not a constitutional fucking lawyer. You know, also, I think somewhere in there's some rules about your own body and your own medical decisions. I do believe, you know, there's some rules about that. So there's multiple Constitution violations going on here. But because of emergency powers that have been going this entire time, this is the longest state of emergency I've ever fucking witnessed in my life. And it ain't going anywhere till after November. Mark my words. You know. Meanwhile, the President of the United States won't wear a fucking mask. You know. So if he doesn't have to wear it, and you know, he should be very protected. He's vulnerable. He's definitely in the vulnerable category. And he won't wear it. Imagine that. I'm just really weary of it. That's the other reason I'm off Facebook. I don't have to live it every day. I also, you know, I don't watch the media. I watch it on Mondays. I call it Media Monday. Because if I'm going to be pissed off at a time during the week, it has to be Monday, because I already hate Monday anyway. So I catch up on all the news on Mondays. And then all the other days, I still hear shit. Like right now, I heard about the Walmart thing. Actually, earlier today, somebody was chatting with me. And they told me about the whole Walmart thing. I didn't even go look. I haven't read the article as far as I know. It's just people are telling me that. And you know what? That's actually a more reliable way to fucking get my news than watching actual fucking news. So, Windhammer, I'm still waiting for an asteroid, Mayfire, water cleanse. This bullshit. Oh, we've gone through like the heat dome. That was fun. I enjoyed the heat dome. Minneapolis is destroyed. Will take years to rebuild. No policing. I wouldn't say it, having been to Minneapolis, unless it's continued. I wouldn't say it's destroyed, but I will say their crime rate is worse. From the parts I went into, it's fairly normal, though I did not see a cop when I was there. And I also got an email from a longtime subscriber who's been very supportive of the channel. That would be Dave in MSP. Can you guess what MSP stands for? He lives in that area, and he told me, yeah, it was just a small section of downtown had the problem. So, you know, I'll take his word over mainstream media at this point. You know, and it's really what it boils down to. If you find the news, and I know some people that are being really affected by this, you know, and I get sucked into it too, to be honest with you. Turn that shit off. The world will be there when you wake up in the morning, all right? Turn that shit off. Budget. Now, you can't put your head in the sand. You still got to know what's going on. But you don't need to know what's going on every single day of the week for hours upon hours. Turn that fucking shit off. Find something else to occupy your mind. You're not going to solve this. You know, there's very little that you can do at this point other than speak your mind. But watching it and getting enraged about it on a daily basis is bad for your mental health. And just turn that shit off. You know, watch a movie, read a book, you know, catch up on all the books, audio books and shit. I don't know. Something besides fucking the news. The news isn't changing. Let me sum up. I haven't watched the news today, but let me sum up the stories. Fucking the shit's skyrocketing. There's tons more cases, record-setting numbers. The hospitals are overflowing. There's bodies on the streets. Oh, and people shooting each other in fucking record numbers. And cops don't give a fuck no more. That was the news today. Didn't watch the news. How close was I? You know, I mean, it's really, you got to get away from that. You got to get away from that shit because it'll cause anxiety, it'll cause depression, it'll cause misery, it'll make you lose faith and hope in the future. And when you get out and you look at all of the fucking states that out here that aren't making a big deal of it, people are just living their lives. And at the end of the day, the majority of people just want to live their lives. They want to go work their job, come home and, you know, kick up their feet in their house with their family. They want to, you know, maybe go out and have a few beers or whatever the fuck people do for their fucking fun. They don't want to worry about any of this shit. Unfortunately, it's in our faces, and they want to keep it that way. And I don't think they're doing it because they care about our health or how often we die. If you look at fucking New York's death toll, they're doing it to keep us afraid and to make us ready to follow instructions and orders, many of which are overriding our freedom. I have so many people who argue with me, is it so hard to just wear this for you're going in the store for 5 minutes, just fucking wear it. You know, that's, you give an inch, and then what happens? What happens when you give that inch? What's the next step? Because it's not far from this that we get into mandatory other things, which I can't even say on here, because it's YouTube. But there's some mandatory shit coming down in the future that will affect your personal privacy, will affect your right to what gets put in your body, will affect your ability to get a job, to get on an airplane, to get in a company. You know, we're already seeing it. What do we see in law? Well, how long before they ask you for more? How long before you got to fill out a 4-page medical fucking questionnaire to go buy a fucking pack of toilet paper? You know, where do we stop? We can stop now, or we can put our masks on and be compliant little fuckers until the next rule, and the next rule, and the next rule. And we lose more and more freedom with each one of those fucking rules. And by the end of it, we'll be staying at home, shopping online for everything, only getting food delivered if we're lucky, ordering fucking the days of you going out to concerts, to bars, gone. Keeping you in your house, glued to the television and the corporate mainstream media, buying from 3 companies, and being compliant. That's it. And being dependent on your government. These are all the things that are in store for us, and it all starts with the little shit before we end up with no freedom whatsoever. And that's why I say fuck the mask, you know. It'd be easy for me to wear it. You know, it's not because it's inconvenient. I don't like wearing it, but I can do it if I have to. But I'm not going to just do it because they tell me to do it. You know, because the government mandates it, because it's unconstitutional. A business can tell me to do it. It's their right. You know, Walmart is perfectly within their rights to say you got to wear a mask to go in there. It's not trampling the Constitution at all. Wouldn't even hold up in court. Why? Because Walmart is a private business and that's private property. They can ask you to do anything. I have customers that ask me to wear fucking vests and safety goggles and hard hats and all kinds of shit. And if I don't put them on, they ask me to leave. That is what a business can do. You know, and your only option there is to vote with your money. Where do you spend your money? Who do you spend your money on? You know, those are your options. And, you know, if I might not be in the majority of people in this opinion either, you know, so it might be a losing battle for me, but I'm going to enjoy what freedom I can find. I'm willing to go out looking for it. That's why I'm in this thing. I want to know where I'm free, where I can go. When I'm tired of the fucking social distancing, when I'm tired of the mask bullshit, where can I go? Turns out there's a bunch of places. I know where they are now. I can get there. So at any time I want to step away from the bullshit, I can step away from the bullshit. And I know not everybody has that opportunity. So I'm thankful that I have that opportunity. And it's all because I gave my fucking 15 years of my life to this fucking career, that I'm able to do that. And it's not like I don't know that. So it's the same shit anyway. Let's see here. Minneapolis asking for federal money to rebuild. Go figure. M. Hammer. Minneapolis was on the news, burned to the ground, but is news. That's the thing. The cameras will point at the worst, and they won't show you anything else. M. Hammer, getting a lot of info on Ground Zero with Clyde Lewis, a kick-ass show on the radio in Portland, Oregon. Another thing that you want to do instead of just watching the news, if you really want to know what's going on, you got to dig. You just can't go on the first page of your feed. There's I've seen a few people that all they do, they don't say anything. They don't give you commentary. They literally just turn their phone on and walk around these protest areas and the riot areas and all of that, and they just let their camera run. And sometimes, you know, yeah, there's a few screaming people, but you can see that on a Wednesday city. You know, I don't know. If you just watch the mainstream media, they're always going to put a spotlight and zoom in with a 200 fucking millimeter lens on the worst fucking thing they can show you. That's what mainstream media is going to do. It don't matter if it's Fox or CNN or whatever. They're going to show you the worst. See with your own eyes. If you want to know, is Minneapolis fucked? Go take a look. Be careful. You know, don't go at night. But go at 7 in the morning. That's when I did. And you'll probably be able to assess the damage and the lawlessness based on what you see. But you're not going to see on mainstream media a proper telling of the story. They're going to leave out anything that doesn't make you click. And what makes you click? Everything is well, everything's good, everything, you know, do you see that? No. You don't hear about the cities where shit ain't happening, do you? You only hear about the shit where it's happening, and it makes you feel like in the way, and they do it in this way that bombards you, that makes you feel like the whole world is like that, like the whole fucking country's gone to shit, when it's really just like 13 or 14 cities that are shitholes. You know, I've been to a lot of them now. They're shitholes. I don't want to go there. I don't want to spend money there. I don't want to spend time there. I don't go in there. It's really that simple. And if you don't go in there, then they'll deal, you know, no one's leaving those cities necessarily unless they can afford to. The problems will stay in those cities. If you don't live in those cities, you got nothing to worry about. If you do live in those cities, might be time to move, you know. But I can tell you, not everywhere in this country is a mess. Plenty of towns and cities I go to, there's not a fucking problem at all, you know, other than the normal, average, everyday crime, you know, which is fairly minimal in a lot of the cities I've gone to. But some of these cities are just shitholes because they're not governed properly and laws aren't enforced the way they should be, and it just... But that's all of the media is showing you, is those cities that are fucked up. And it makes you think that the whole country's shit. And being out here, I can tell you the whole country is not shit. All right? Even here on YouTube, I see the same thing, where they're just talking shit about shit. The whole country isn't that way. I'd say there's maybe 30% of the population that is kind of assholes out here, and everybody else is minding their own business, you know. So we're at a 30% ass. That's pretty high too for the United States. But based on my personal interactions, not what's on fucking internet or in fucking Facebook or YouTube, when I go out and I deal with people, I'd say maybe about 30% of them are pieces of shit. And everybody else is just minding their business, living their life, and are generally friendly to everyone around them. You know, that's life. A lot of the cities aren't bad, you know. But it's easy to get outraged about that city that's over there, you know. Work on your own communities. Don't worry about all these other... You can't solve any of that. It's just going to make you angry about something you have no control over. And that's a big step for better mental health, is don't worry about things you have no control over. It's actually a Stoic principle. I study Stoicism a little bit. I'm not very good at it, but I'm working on it. But Stoic philosophy is kind of a good way to deal with this current bullshit. And you waste a lot of energy, a lot of, you know, thought, a lot of, you know, you just waste a lot of your resources worrying about these places that you'll probably never go to, you know, and there's really nothing you can do about it. You don't vote in those states a lot of times. You don't go to those cities, you know, so why get upset about it? If it's happening in your town, get upset about it. Go over to the mayor and say, hey, dickhead, why are we doing this? You know, let your local authorities be known that you're not happy with the way things are. Because if you don't, nothing's going to change. But if you're in a perfectly okay city, in a perfectly decent state, which they're harder to find nowadays, there's no need to get so angry about all of this. Pay attention, but don't get angry about it, and don't like watch it every day, because that'll fucking drive you up a fucking wall. Masks save lives. Ask people in ask people in Korea, Taiwan, and Japan. Yeah, I can tell that they save lives. You know, China, they were wearing masks before it was cool. Remember that? Where did this come from again? The COVID, you know. Masks in nursing homes in New York. Pretty sure they masked up when that nursing home in Washington got fucked up. That was one of the first rules I think Cuomo rolled out, was PPE to nursing homes. Highest 40% of the deaths in New York came from nursing homes, I believe. Something like that. 30, 40%, somewhere in there. If masks work, how'd that happen? You know, if masks and PPE work, how do medical professionals get infected? You know, and there, some of them are wearing the face shields and the fucking garbage bags and all that other shit all over them. This doesn't work. It doesn't work. There's no proof that it works, neither anecdotally or through science. You know, one of these things that people threw at me with the mask argument was this PBS ran a fucking special, which was a scientific experiment where they showed like the air particles coming out of a person's mouth with and without this, and nowhere in there did it mention virus particles, which pass through this like it's not even fucking there. You know, the science says these don't work. History. They wore these during the Spanish flu. They made everybody fucking wear them. You know what? Didn't work. Everybody still fucked after that because it didn't do shit. You know? Shit. Let's see here. Catching up with the chat a little bit. Fasting bastard Trump told Minneapolis to pound sand on federal money. That he did, and I don't think the federal government should bail out mismanaged and misgoverned states. It's not their job. You know, it's also not their job to tell the states what to do either, so you can't have it both ways. You know, you can't be like, you can't tell us what to do, the federal government. Oh, but can you give us money because we fucking suck at this? Yeah, I don't think that's a good idea. But I don't want to get super political on it because, quite frankly, both sides are doing a shit job of this managing this whole fucking thing. We have no leaders. We don't have a good leader. There's no leader, politician in existence right now that I would take a bullet for. You know, that I would follow up to the hill and die on the hill for. None of them. Not a single fucking one. Not a candidate. There's nobody I can think of that I'd be like, yeah, I will go fight for you. I will follow you to the edge of the fucking earth. We got no leadership like that. No. They all lead through fear, intimidation, and half of them don't know their fucking ass from a hole in the wall. You know, there is not a single politician I can think of that I would like march up the hill to defend. None. Zero, left or right. None. I want that to change. What happened to having leadership? We have no leadership. We got a narcissist as a president. We've got a bunch of corrupt fucking politicians in Congress arguing over who's got the better corporation money, you know, and we got all of these governors fucking way overextending their power and reach, unilaterally making law that could cost you a year in jail or a $2,000 fine without the state legislature passing something or a vote taking place. Last I checked, in states you're supposed to vote on these law changes. Well, I don't remember anybody voting for the fucking mask penalty. You know, our democracy is going to shit, and we don't have any real leaders. In every one of these disasters that has been upon us has had disjointed fucking leadership, confusing mixed messages from the government, and confusing mixed messages from fucking politicians in all the states. You know, some states are different on a county by county basis. There's no real leadership. The closest thing to leadership I've seen is the governor of South Dakota, who put her foot down and said, this is what it is. But even she didn't lead necessarily. She left a lot of it open to the individual cities and counties in terms of what rules got put in place. So while the state was open, a lot of the cities still had a lot of lockdown measures. No mandatory masks, though. But they're still the loosest in the country. By far, a lot of them. So I don't see any leaders now that I would just march up the hill and be like, I follow you, you know. I hope we'd see some someday. I haven't seen any in a long time, to be honest with you. I can't even think of any that in my lifetime that I'm like, yes, I will follow you. I believe in what you're doing. You are doing good. Not a single one of them, including our current administrations. So, so I'm pissing off both the left and the right because I said nobody in government is doing a good job right now. Otherwise, we wouldn't be as fucked up as we are right now. So, Gyrospin up there pressuring the weak-minded to beg for the bubblegum machine vaccine that will... Oh, yeah. I've already seen that writing on the wall. I didn't want to say it too much, and I'm not going to dwell on it. But like I said, this is the first step. There's a whole bunch of other things that they're lining up to put on us, and it's beyond just vaccines. It's also identification, it's tagging, it's requiring no privacy. Privacy's gone too, Remember when we had privacy? Neither do I, So that's that. Gyrospin up there has been RNA vaccine. There's never been an RNA vaccine that worked. It will mutate. Same thing as the flu vaccine. Flu vaccine don't work. I haven't had a flu vaccine in fucking almost, I think it's over 20 years now. And while I have been sick, maybe twice during that period, I didn't die, but I never got the vaccine either. And believe me, they try. Every time I go in for my yearly checkup, they're like, "You get the flu shot? Get the flu shot?" I'm like, "No, I'm not gonna get the fucking flu shot." They stuck all that shit in me when I was in the military. And I had to. You don't have rights when you're in the fucking military. But now that I'm out, they're not putting a needle in me unless I'm like unconscious and dead in a coma. And even then, someone's getting punched when I wake up. Tim Ferguson, South Dakota governor, is a babe, isn't she? She is attractive, but I just like that she's showing leadership quality, like real leadership quality, inspiring people. And that's what I've seen in South Dakota. There are some people that are inspired. There's some people that hate her, though, that live in South Dakota. And there is some political things going on within the state that have nothing to do with a lot of the crap going on out here. But for the most part, she's probably the closest to a good governor that I see out here in the other fucking 48 states I've been to. Or 47 states I've been to. I gotta do the math in there. But she's doing the best job, in my opinion, with the way they handled it, the way they handled they had hot spots there. They had the meat packing plants. You don't hear about that anymore, do you? Why? Because it fucking wasn't a thing. They fixed it. Some people died. Some people were going to die anyway. That's life. People are dying every day. The only difference now is now we're going to make everyone scared to death about it. Only your ancestral gods will answer. Call to them. Shit. So many are misguided. What can we do? I could tear my hair out trying to be that voice of reason in the room. And, my YouTube channel is a place where I do vent a lot of this. Like, even right now on this live stream. There's really... At this point, we're so polarized that people who are watching me either agree with me or don't, and most likely they're not going to keep watching me if they don't agree with me. Like, my subscriber count has been stagnant, which is indicative of the fact that I'm pissing off the same amount of people as are agreeing with me, because it goes down, and then it goes up, then it goes down, then it goes up, and that's what my subscriber count's been doing. And part of me is tinfoil hat and that shit, saying Susan's fucking with the algorithm. But I do believe that because of the way we are polarized on the mask issue, on COVID, on the civil unrest, and all of this other shit, and my opinions, personal opinions on it, I've disappointed some people who previously thought I was good because they agreed with all the shit I was saying, but now I'm saying something that means they don't necessarily agree with. So they're like, fuck you. Which here on YouTube is fine. I don't mind that. because a lot of these people I've never met and probably will never meet. It was bothering me on Facebook, though, because these are people I know, I've met personally, that are part of my life. And so it's a little different when they're telling me I suck, you know? And I'm just like, well, I'm not going to change. That's not on the fucking docket. If someone doesn't like my opinion, they can fucking pound salt. I don't care, you know? But it's just, I don't know. It gets exhausting trying to convince people. And I say this as someone who's been railing about these issues long before COVID. You know, if you've watched any of my old podcasts or live streams or any of the things that I've railed about for our public health over the years, this isn't a new thing. You know, we're being fucked over by Big Pharma, we're being fucked over by the government, and we're being fucked over for money and power. Not because they want better health for you. If they wanted better health for us, wouldn't we have all gone keto a long time ago? Or at least something better than the standard American diet, which kills way more people than COVID and fucking flu and any virus put together? Yet we haven't done jack shit. It's the other thing that bothers me about the virtue signalers. They're doing that. I had people tell me that I'm a piece of shit for wearing this, and they smoke. I'm like, fucking really? And they smoke around other people. I'm like, shut the fuck up and put your cigarette out if you're gonna virtue signal me about my fucking mask, you know? And like I say, I see assholes wearing masks while they're driving their car by themselves and they're speeding. Explain that one to me. What's the difference? What is the percent chance of speeding causing you to die as opposed to COVID? You know, it's just so much fucking bullshit. It becomes overwhelming. And that's one of the reasons I got rid of Facebook. And I don't think I'm going to look back this time. I think I've done learned my lesson. This is the second time I've deleted Facebook off my phone. You know what? And because I did that today, I had a good fucking day today. Yeah, and even here streaming, I'm giving you my opinion, and I know not everybody watching this is going to agree with my opinion, but I'm still having a good day. It was a good day. You know, I can't complain. I worked, drove from fucking Nevada all the way up to Oregon. You know, I don't have a load out yet, so I might even have a day off here. Probably going to spend it in here if the weather's too hot, but if it's not, I might go for a walk down to town or something. It's a small town, rural area. You know, might go for a little walk, film a video or something if I got time. Or I might just do laundry and wash my balls, you know. But see you later, Donna Rose. They want Trump out badly. He stands in the way of the NWO if he wins 4 years. It doesn't matter if he wins or loses, Gyro. No one's going to accept it. That's what they're setting that up for. But, you know, I'd like to think this will all be over in November. If he wins, there's going to be 4 more years of the same fucking shit times 10. You know, and we'll probably have more civil unrest and more problems. If he loses, then we're going to see a lot more authoritarianism in our lives. It's pretty much a lose-lose situation, you know. I don't see a better... Do you? I mean, can you not see how this is lining up? That they're already doing things to make it so the election is accepted by either side, with the mail-in voter shit and all of that. You know, I'm not into politics for this reason. It's corrupt as fuck. And whether he wins or loses, and we're also forgetting that there's a whole other branch of fucking government there, you know, a couple branches that are supposed to, we should equally be worried about. We should actually be more worried about who's running Congress than who's in the White House, you know, because if you got if all of the stars align a certain way, then you're going to get a very one-sided pounding of legislature. I don't know. And like I said, we don't have any real leaders, anybody that's worth following. I still can't think of it. Can you think of a good leader? Somebody who you would want to be president? Because we don't have one now, not in my opinion. And we won't have one after the election either. No matter who wins. That's what I just said, LOL. Did I miss something that you wrote? The deep state ram a few national bank or large corporations bringing the big bucks. I think we're on the same page, Gyro. You and I have discussed this stuff in the past, for the most part. There will only be a few that hear me truly. What I can lead others to must be sought before it is taught. That's the thing I've said for years about, health, is people, you can't change people's minds. They have to want to change. And I think I forgot that when I went to Facebook. I was like, I need to show my friends that, who are in New York, that life isn't fucked up out here, that we should be doing something to make it so that New York isn't fucked up. And not only did I get ridiculed for it, people say they lost respect for me. My intelligence was insulted. It was called anti-science when I've probably got more science in my left testicle than a lot of people, My favorite is people arguing science with me using a PBS fucking special. I'm like, yeah, that's, I'm sure that's peer reviewed. And I've dedicated the last 5 years to studying nutrition and health. And so it's not like I don't know a lot about these things. Now I'm not an expert. I am just an asshole. But at the same time, I don't deserve the condescension that I was getting on Facebook. So it bothered me. It did. And I think I'm going to have a better life now, because I'm only going back there once a month, maybe, if I'm lucky. Once every couple months, probably. So I've got my close friends. My close friends are in direct contact with me. So I'm not too concerned. If anybody wants to be my friend, they can reach out and be my friend. They don't need to fucking just be Facebook friends or lazily look at my statuses while showing me theirs. That's not the same as, calling a motherfucker and being like, hey, what you up to? What are you doing? I got a friend that calls me every day. Steve. He's my best friend. Calls me every day without fail. I try and call him, be the first to call him, because I don't want him to feel like he's always just calling me. So there's a couple times where he hadn't called me yet, so I called him. But he checks on me out here. Every day. Checks on me. That's a friend. A friend is not somebody flicking while they're taking a shit and says, oh, yeah, Scott's still alive. Look, he just posted that he has 108 fucking temperature and his AC's down. Yeah, it's good. Next. Oh, look at that funny meme. So, yeah, that's my problem with Facebook. And by all means, if you are affected in a negative way by what Facebook is doing, it's time to cut the cord on that shit. That ship has to sail. And I have an announcement. I know some of you were happy that I was posting my shit on my Facebook fan page, where I would mirror my videos over. I'm not doing that anymore. In fact, the closest I'm going to come to anything social media-wise posting, aside from YouTube, I'm going to start probably running I got to sit down and really hit my website, because there's a bunch of work that I need to do to it. But I am probably going to start blogging on there again on my website. And so, for posts of random shit that I would have put on Facebook if I were being on social media, I'm just going to do it in my blog, because that's my blog. It's my space. not MySpace, but it's I pay for that. It's mine. So I can put whatever the fuck I want on it. So there's that. Error ASMR social media is mentally toxic. That is very true. So is mainstream media. Most media is toxic nowadays. Even fucking like Hollywood and fucking Netflix. Justin, I emailed you something the other day, but can't remember what it was. Probably something that wasn't too great to know. I'll have to go through. I don't always get to all my emails, Gyro, but I'll go double check it. Sometimes you gotta nudge me a little on the emails. So I used to laugh at till I seen them becoming. It's hard. It's really hard to know what's the truth and what isn't. What I do know in terms of conspiracy theories is I don't trust anybody at this point. I don't trust the government. I don't trust the media. I don't trust academia. I haven't trusted academia for a while. And that's why I'm kind of in this mode now where if I don't see it with my own eyes in person and experience it in person, I take it with a grain of salt. And that's kind of my approach. And I have the ability to travel the country now. So I can go and look. If I'm curious, like for example, the Minneapolis. Now I'm not as nervous. If I'm curious, I'll go in and take a look. I'm smart about it. I'm not going to do it at times where I think I'd be vulnerable to crime. I am taking seriously that shootings are up. But it turns out if you don't mess around with people or get involved, they tend to not shoot you just randomly. The shootings aren't random. They're people shooting at each other. Don't get people pissed at you. They probably won't shoot you. Unless you cut them off in traffic. So I gotta be careful in those cities. So, error ASMR, it's either predictive programming or propaganda these days. Everything is manufactured and it's pretty depressing to think about. It is, but don't let it get you down. Get out there and live your life not from what you see on the screens. Don't live your life through these screens. Go out and have experiences, have adventures. This year has been a positive year for me, but for the media. If I didn't turn on these screens and watch and consume the media and social media I consumed, and I just did the things I did this year, I wouldn't even know something was up, except for I'd be like, why is everybody wearing these fucking things? Why are you wearing them? And they'd be like, oh, because it's the COVID. Sometimes ignorance really is bliss. And if you're fucking struggling, maybe it's time to be ignorant. Maybe it's time to turn off that shit. Stop listening to them. Fuck them. No more clicking. Stop clicking. I know it's hard. I get sucked in. I do. There's times I'll be looking for a video to watch and I'll see that thing. I'm like, nope, today's not Monday. I can't click that shit. And I keep going. Doesn't mean I didn't read the fucking clickbait headline. And usually I can figure out what the fucking video is going to be about by the clickbait headline. So I'm able to resist that urge to click. But, you gotta pull out. That's the only way to get through this madness, is to kind of just pull away from it. Because that's the biggest thing manipulating us right now, is the media. The media, I believe, has made what was probably a small problem into a catastrophe. You got to think, what would COVID have been like if we didn't have 24/7 cable news and social media? How would that have gone down? How would all of this have gone down if we didn't have this constant bombardment of bad news to make you afraid? Some would say it's an agenda. And I continue to stand by that. I don't think it's like a coordinated effort. I think it's a bunch of greedy motherfuckers doing the things that make them the most money. And they just happen to line up in a perfect storm of fucking us over, you know. So that's my thoughts there. I'm pretty sure this live stream is 100% demonetized at this point. If it doesn't get deleted altogether. So that may have not worked. Oh well. What didn't work, Gyro? Error ASMR started a small organic farm raising chickens. Avoid a swarm of mental chaos online as much as humanly possible till I end up online at night. One of the things I'm finding being a nomad is I'm able to disconnect not only from the internet. I can legit, you know, now with my setup that I have on this truck, I just went grocery shopping today. I could not speak to a human being other than going to customers and fueling for 2 weeks straight. I don't have to interact with anybody out here. Now, that sucks. I'm a social creature. You know, I like being around people. Now, all the time, I'm also able to function solo, but I can go back and forth. And so I'm in a perfect position to boondock in place, so to speak. As in, like right now, I don't have a load out of this town. If the town was a shitty town, I could just stay here, cook my meals, make my music, make those, and not deal with any shit, you know. It's that's one of the reasons I am wanting to be a nomad right now, is it's taken me out of these things that otherwise would just drive me insane. They would, you know. If I was still back in New York with all this bullshit, I'd be done. You know, I'd be surrounded by people who didn't agree with my philosophy. You know, I have a few friends who either agree to disagree or they agree with me. But I would also have a whole lot of people in my life that would be like, you're fucking stupid, you know. And that would just drive me nuts. And I want to get away from all of that. And I can. So nomadic life is my solution. I'm not really a homesteaded... I can wander. I like wandering. You know, if you think about it, humans were nomadic in the beginning. And I think I still got a lot of that in me. Because I like wandering. I like wandering the country. Whenever I settle for too long, I get a little mental. You know. You probably see that in those little room videos. And I do stupid shit when I settle for too long, too. Paul Maples, I love watching... Or Paul Mapes. I love watching you on YouTube. I'm a big fan. If you are ever in Kansas City area, let me know. I'd love to meet you in person. I am planning. I still haven't got to it yet. I'll probably get to it tomorrow if I don't have a fucking load. But I need to set up that form on my website so that I have a database of people that want to hang out. And then if I'm in your area, I can contact you and let you know, hey, I'm going to be here around this time frame. Is that good for you? And that's kind of... That's what I want to do for the meetup type stuff. There's some psychology to what it is doing to us, and it's not good. I agree, and I especially agree, Error ASMR, that it's affecting kids profoundly. The next generation that's going to be there when we're all 80. Yeah, it's not looking good. It's definitely, I'm going to have a cabin in the woods at some point. Because that'll be the last free bastion of peace. It's a cabin in the fucking woods or somewhere on BLM land with a fucking van or something. Could have a huge campfire. I want a campfire. I haven't had a campfire yet. I'm gonna have a fucking campfire my next time off for sure. I'll fucking go somewhere, and it's in New York too. I'm not gonna wear a mask while I'm at the campfire. Fuck, you're fine. So. Child abuse with these max and anti-germ. Yeah, they're gonna make a lot of people germophobic. People are already germophobic. You know, forgot completely how the immune system works. The immune system works through getting exposed to shit. If you don't expose your immune system to shit, guess what? You lose your immune system. And when you do that, things that you would otherwise just brush off could kill you, including COVID. So I too am disappointed with this social distancing and all of that, because all it is fucking up people's immunity and all of the sanitizer shit. Now, I've always used sanitizer, but I use it as I don't have a way to wash my hands sometimes out here in the truck, and like I handled meat or something, or maybe I just was out fucking with the trailer and had my gloves on. I'll use it to wash my hands. But I'm not when I go into fucking Walmart and push my cart around, I'm not sanitizing my hands, But meanwhile, they've probably sanitized the shit out of it to begin with. So everything is backwards on purpose, it seems. I don't think, honestly, that the governments and corporations are smart enough to be coordinated about this. I don't believe there's an overarching, mastermind. I just think that greed lines up. You got all these people that want money and power. And so a lot of the tactics they're using will work out for them. Amazon probably supports this because it's been great for their business. Walmart's like, yes, we're going to make you put them fucking masks on. Why do you think that is? Who's been open the whole time? I wonder how many fucking cases could be linked directly to fucking Walmart. They're pushing the narrative. You got all of and you saw it with the civil unrest too. You got all of these corporations that are suddenly becoming politically involved. Do you think they really give a fuck? They give a fuck about one thing: money and control. And if they can control you and force you to buy from them, which is essentially what we're being pushed towards, then their goals ally with some fucking politician who's trying to manipulate us into vote in a certain way. They ally with, there's a lot of greedy alignments going on, but I don't believe there's an intelligence to it, because a lot of the stupid shit just has been stupid. I mean, it's just dumb the way it is. That's my thought on that. Paul Mapes, fuck Walmart. Unfortunately, I'm to go to Walmart still, just because I need groceries. So, doesn't mean I'm happy about it. If I can go to like a Safeway or a Wegmans or one of those, I go there first. But I definitely am a slave to Walmart. Not to mention I sometimes haul their shit. So, Era ASMR, have you ever heard about the Bilderberg meetings? These people, money definitely meet up, the evils. Oh, I'm sure that there's a bunch of CEOs that get together at dinner parties and come up with great ways of fucking milking the maximum profit out of our ass. I have no doubt that that's going on. I just don't think that all of this is, because it's too chaotic and there's no intelligence behind what's been going on. There's just so much chaos. And unless chaos was the goal, which is bad for business, mind you, I just think a lot of different corrupt individuals are making moves right now at the same time, and it's causing this chaos. There's no order to it. There's nothing that's lining up to make me think that there's this overlord that's coming up with this, or this group of individuals that's got this shit under control, because there's not a lot of fucking sense going on to what it is. Maybe I just can't see it, but that's just my opinion. I think it's just a bunch of greedy fucks who are bouncing off each other's ideas to try and get more fucking money, more clicks. The media isn't trying to push an agenda. The media wants you to click and be home watching them. That's their goal. That's why they're pushing. They're not pushing it for some other agenda. They want you to be home watching the news scared out of your fucking mind. So they're going to tell you that you got to wear your mask, that the people are fucking dropping dead in the streets from COVID, and the ERs are full and everything's, the sky is falling. Click, and please subscribe to our newspaper and all of that. That's what the media is doing. And it just happens to line up with, some political agendas and some other and the small business at the same time. They're all like, yes, mask up, social distancing, we will protect you. I hear the dystopian fucking voices whenever I go in a truck stop. Please, social distance and wear a mask. Please, take care of, I'm like, shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear that. I've heard it in tourist places. They have the authoritarian 1984 voice come over the loudspeaker and thank you for social distancing and wearing your mask. Please use hand sanitizers and follow the arrows, and please social distance at all times. Thank you for making this a safe environment for I'm fucking sick of that shit. It makes me feel like I'm in the fucking Twilight Zone. Stop with the fucking dystopian 1984 voices in all the stores. I don't want to go in there. I don't want to buy shit from you if you're playing that shit every 2-3 minutes. Sorry. Can you tell this thing gets to me a little bit? After November 3rd, you won't hear about COVID-19. It's all political. We kind of covered that already in this stream. Paul is in, I don't think it's over with after the election. I think this is just the beginning of the fucking problems. People that get power tend to not want to let go of it. Just look at Cuomo. Fucking COVID's not even a thing in New York, and we got more fucking fines and rules than ever. So the election is one big soap opera. I agree, and like I said, we don't have any leaders. There's nobody I'd die on the hill for. It is what it is. But how long have we been going? We've been almost 2 hours on this stream, so I think I accomplished live streaming for the week. I probably should get off of here before I say something that gets me banned. If I'm not already. We'll find out if I have a YouTube tomorrow. If, for some reason, I disappear off YouTube, you can follow me on LBRY, Scott the Truck Driver. My videos will always be posted there and continue to be posted there. I might even look up BitChute again, see if that's improved, but last I checked it wasn't that great. Also, DLive is my backup streaming source. I tend to do my karaoke streams over there now. And I might do some chats and hangouts. In fact, I think my next live stream is going to be a DLive stream, not here on YouTube. Because I can relax a lot more there. Like, even through all this ranting in the back of my head, I'm like, did I just sink the fucking YouTube ship? And I'm not as concerned with it as I used to be, because I was a full-time content creator back then, and if it happens, I still have my job, I still have my life, so if I get canceled on YouTube, it's not the end of the world for me. Just as long as I have a place to express myself, and there's enough alternative platforms for that. So, if I just fucking sank my ship because I said that these are bullshit, head to ScottTheTruckDriver.com, sign up for my free email list, head over to LBRY and follow my channel there. I got I think 1,100 or so. I gotta check followers on there, and I actually make a okay-ish income there as well as here on YouTube. So as far as I make a little more per view there, but the ad revenue has been fickle here. Like, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. But my growth on YouTube has been stagnant since January, so I guess I suck. Who knows? Just don't say 5 something, or what are you talking about, Jair? Are you trying to get me to say shit that I don't want to be in trouble for saying? Windhammer, good talking to you. Thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks, Error ASMR, Paul Mapes. Some of the other regulars didn't make it. I realize it's late. I didn't, and that's because I couldn't get on here. I know I'm on Pacific time right now. It was very fucking late. Alberta Girl just got here now. Never know if I should roll back to the beginning or jump to where the stream is at. It's up to you. I mean, you can always go back afterwards and see where it started. But the gist of it was basically this But the gist of it is, get control of your life, get away from this media shit and social media shit, and just live your life, see with your own eyes, look around you, what is your town doing, what is your city doing, what is your state doing, and leave it at that. There's no use worrying about what's going on in other cities and states at this point. Things are just too chaotic and fucked up, and I think if we just made sure our own backyards were good, that maybe we could pull out of this fucking tailspin that we seemingly have been in. And like I said, there's a lot of places in this country that aren't fucked up at all. There's signs of COVID everywhere with the social distance remnants and shit, but some places it's not a thing. They just follow whatever their little rules are, that social distance, half capacity shit sometimes. But all in all, people's attitudes are like, okay, well, we're just doing our thing. And a lot of the rules get broken and ignored or marginalized out here in a lot of these places. So it's not all as crazy as the media would have you believe, or here on YouTube that people would have you believe. But at the same time, you got to protect yourself mentally from this propaganda that's being spewed all day, every day on all these platforms. You just got to give yourself time to process and look at it through the lens of your life, how you have been personally affected by these things and what you can do about it. And if you can't do anything about it, it's probably not even worth your energy to be angry and upset and depressed about it. Just live your best life and encourage those around you to live their best lives, and then the media loses its power. The media only has this power over us if you watch and you click. If you don't watch them, they're talking in an empty room. It really is that simple. If we all stopped watching CNN, Fox News, the MSNBC, the fucking PBS, all of those, if we stopped watching all of those, they'd have zero influence over us. And if we just looked around ourselves, hey, did you see that downtown today? We need to take a step back. We're too connected to shit. And I think a great deal of the unrest, confusion, and problems that we have is because of that. Now, I'm not saying put your head in the sand. There's times when you want to catch up. Just don't do it every day. Keep an eye on the government. Keep an eye on what they're doing, but not through the lens of media. You got to make your own conclusions. Look at the new laws that get passed, the things that your politicians are saying, without the spin that the media puts on it. So, thanks, Debbie, for being here. Have a good night, everybody. Remember, I'm not a fucking expert. I'm just an asshole. Have a nice motherfucking day. This isn't going to be a smooth ending because I got to end it on the phone.